In this video, we are going to get some experience making and using color slices in ENVI. And so what we see right here is the NDVI image that we've calculated using band math in the previous steps. And again, this is the area in Santa Barbara. And so we can look at our different cursor location values, and as I move around here we can see, looking at the data, right? So down here, negative NDVI values; in these bright areas, positive NDVI values, right? Getting quite positive in some of these irrigated and green, beautiful vegetated areas. The purpose again of this video is to share with you all this idea of using color slices. And so we can, in the toolbar, we can type in here a raster color slice or color slice, and it should bring up a tool. And the input file that we're going to use for this, in this case, just for this demonstration, is the NDVI image that we've created using some kind of a band math expression and that. So that's the one that we're interested in. And so by default, it brings up this sort of rainbow of beautiful colors. But we are interested in maybe, and what we see when we brought this tool up is this interesting histogram. So these are for NDVI values, right, which are down here. NDVI values. This is a frequency count. This is a histogram. I'm looking at this. I'm going to get rid of all these guys so we can focus on this. We can see that there's these two different Gaussian shapes. Most of the data looks like this, and this would seem reasonable. NDVI values, sitting around here. But then we've got this really sort of wacky guy over here. And one of the ways we can explore this data a little bit is to use the color slice to try to isolate out these pixels. What is going on with these pixels, and why do we have this weird secondary spike when most kind of data, unless it's bimodal or something else in the world, often has this kind of a Gaussian shape? So there's something weird with our data, and I'd like to explore what that is. And one way to do it is using this sort of color slice. And so we can add in a new color slice, and by default it'll just go over the entire range of data that you have. And since I'm only interested in finding out where are the pixels where this guy is living, I can put in, I can adjust whatever the min and max is for this color slice, which we're going to sort of make a color cut of the images. And so if I look at this guy, the minimum that I care about is probably like negative 0.55. So I'm going to put that in here. So negative 0.55, enter. And then you got to use your judgment. So I'm going to say maybe around here, negative 0.3. That looks like a good place for the max. Negative 0.3, enter. This is, well, that's something, right? So what has happened is we've using our color slice, we've intuitively taken a look here, and we can see that, well, it looks like all of the wet places, all of the water gets highlighted when we do this. And that is great, because when we are doing something like calculating NDVI values, we don't care about water, right? If we have NDVI values of water, that's meaningless. The water exists in the scene, and so actually by doing this color slice, this is the first step towards, or one of the ways that we can build a mask where we can actually remove all of the water from the scene. And so when we run our statistics and do our calculations and so on, we will only be doing that on land surfaces, not on water surfaces. And so that's a useful thing for why we might be interested in using this raster color slice. It's just sort of a first quick cut. And if we wanted to use this as the basis for doing some masking, which we'll show in the next video, what you'd probably want to do is export this color slice as a vector file. And a good way to do that is just to right click on that one. Or I got to figure out, it's under the slices. Yeah, so onto the slice, you would export the color slice as a shapefile, okay, as a vector, which is going to basically be a file that is encompassing all of this red stuff that then we can use to apply to other images and kind of wipe those values out. So you would type in your name here, SB, water mask, or whatever you would call the name, save it to a place where you have your working files, and then you're good to go for the next step.